whenever I'm in chaos, it's a very simple answer. It's like, oh yeah, you forgot to do 3 of those things that you usually do that get you centered. So for me, it's practicing gratitude. And this goes along with the journaling. So it's all right, all in the journaling. Practicing gratitude, compassion, prayer, and meditation.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Health in the Real World podcast. We're here with Danielle Gentry. Danielle, how's it going?
Good. It's going good. Thanks, Chris.
Good. Thanks for coming back. You were on the show it's been like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's been a month already.
It feels like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So you were just talking about your new client and how the weight loss that you coach people through, healthy eating, healthy habits, just kind of speaks for itself and advertises itself. And one thing I was thinking is sometimes my training, you trained with me for years, and sometimes that does not advertise itself because typically people who come to see me have some aches and pains. They just want a stronger core. They want to feel better. And it's hard to show people that is the case. But I think it's pretty cool that you're working with people and literally they look like different people.
Oh, it is. It's I was looking on our group page on Facebook, and there were people who post all the time, before and afters. And some people, just the transformation is so unbelievable. It's like there was this person trapped inside their body, and this person emerged. True transformation, right? Totally.
Like back in like the Renaissance days when they're like carving the statue of David and there's just like this stone there and like David's in there somewhere. Let's just chisel him out.
It totally reminds me. I don't know if you watched it or not. Did you see the weight loss thing that Shaquille O'Neal did with children a while ago? It was a long time ago.
That's cool.
But he took a little boy who was obese, and at the end, like this little athlete emerged.
Wow, that's awesome. It was like a little kid, so young enough to. Yeah. Kids are natural athletes, right? If you just give them the right food and just let them roam free.
Right.
Nice. So what's the most rewarding thing about seeing people do these complete transformations? I mean, obviously the weight loss is why people come to you, but there's so much, it's way deeper than weight loss, right?
Amen. Oh my God, you said it right there. That is the absolute truth. I even said this to a client who was going through like a little bit of a bad time. And I said to her, I go, the weight loss is just a vehicle. I'm like, it's the thing that's getting you through your journey. I mean, you came in, you wanted to lose weight, but what's happening, everything else that's happening for you is that's the amazing part. So to answer your question, or ask it one more time, say it again.
Beyond the weight loss, what's really your motivation? What's really your motivation?
What am I
like,
seeing?
What do you see? Like, what really keeps you going with this, the drive?
Oh, like I know I said it before, but for women, for sure, it's especially around my age, because they've had children, they've probably been married now for 20 plus years. And what they entered their marriage with, the body they entered their marriage with, is probably not the body they have about now. And on this journey, so many women at this age are getting that body back, and it's bringing back confidence. It's bringing back self-esteem. That's the transformation that happens over time. They don't see it right away, but all of a sudden, like, they're doing things, taking chances and trying things that they never thought they would do before. They never thought about it, like that before, but suddenly having your body back just gives you, I know you know this, right? I mean, I'm sure you see it all the time. But yeah, it's seeing women make those changes mentally, some spiritually and physically. That's really where it's at. It's those are the lifelong changes. The
Right.
weight loss is more like it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle to get there.
It's almost like you're when you get to your ideal weight or close to it, it's almost like you've created a new jumping off point for whatever else you want to do, right? It's like,
Yes,
and it almost becomes well, if I can do that, I can do all kinds of other stuff, right?
it's
And
absolutely correct. And they talk about it a lot in the books that we have that help you for the long haul. And it's called, like, it's the halo effect. So it's you start changing one thing over a course of time, and then that practice of change, the motivation you've put into it, the willingness you put into it, the readiness you put into it, helps you, once you accomplish one thing, um, you can take that and move it to other places of your life. So, and you'll see it happen. You'll see it happen naturally. I can't put my finger on it, but it does happen. Like, you'll just see it. It'll happen from one place. Oh, you mean I organized my pantry because I needed to, evict some carbs that don't belong in there. So you do that, and then all of a sudden you find yourself, and then you're successful with that. And then maybe you find yourself organizing your wardrobe area, and you discover you're successful with that because now I didn't need some of these clothes because the weight's coming off. Kind of the same thing, and you gain some success, and it kind of constantly just feeds you a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And all those baby steps of success just end up equaling like this halo effect that suddenly branches out into all these other areas of your life.
yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And I always tell people that I think health and fitness goals are very unique because you have so much control over them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like a goal, let's say like a business goal or like a financial goal or maybe a relationship goal, there's always somebody else that has
Involved.
some power over the situation, right? So I
Agreed.
could say like, I want to add 3 more personal training clients in the next week. I can do everything right, and those people can choose to sign up or not. And so, whether I hit my goal or not is not 100% in my hands. Whereas a nutrition, a fitness, a health and wellness goal, it's almost, obviously there are some factors that are outside our
Mm-hmm.
control, but I would say that's as close to 100% as we can possibly get. And once, I think this is where the power is, where we can get our power back, and people who are overweight, out of shape, can get their power back, is when they realize that this is almost 100% in my own hands, and I can do this. I don't have to blame my friends, my spouse, my work environment, how I was raised, my metabolism, whatever else it is,
Right.
and I can just do it.
You're absolutely right. It's the circle of control is how right? It's what is in your control. And once you start receiving like, it's those success hits is really what it is. I mean, I guess it could be equal to adrenaline. I don't know if you notice it so much like that, like you do. For me, when I would go running, it took me a long time to get the adrenaline hit, but like mile 4, I would feel it. I would finally feel it. And it's the same kind of thing, but I just don't think it doesn't hit you like a rush like that. But I think that's what's psychologically helping you do it in other areas. And another thing that I also recognized, and it's interesting because I just saw a podcast from you interviewed, I think his name was Art. Is that correct? He did the journal.
Art Rothafel, yeah.
Yes.
Art
So I did.
Rothafel does old school pen and paper
Yeah.
journals, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot to that. There
Yep.
is so much to journaling, and it is so 100%. And I don't know what the kinesthetic and the actual feedback mechanism is, but there is something to getting your hand moving and writing the very words that accomplish whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely part of the process for this plan as well. I mean, I recommend it to people to record, in the very beginning, record that beginning start, your metrics from the very beginning, record that. And it isn't because you want to have that, dramatic before and after. It's all about what will help motivate you along the way, because sometimes the scale's not going to cooperate, but and that's fine. When you start, because you have recorded or because you have journaled, especially, another thing, I'm kind of bird tracking, let me finish one thought. When you record your initial measurements, it's helpful to see how many inches you're losing when you may not be actually decreasing weight. But
Right.
that's a huge motivator. But then the other areas where it's really helpful to journal, because it's a very subtle area of change and not necessarily noticeable, like you had said, with people who come in with pain. It's like with sleep. So you journal, well, how was your sleep last night? Oh, last night I had a terrible night's sleep. And then you can write down, what did you eat? And then you start building like this little reference, this little resource, personal for you. Like, oh yeah, I went to that birthday party that I, wouldn't have remembered. I'm not going to remember that in a week, but that my bad night's sleep was because I went to that birthday party and had some, cake or whatever, ice cream.
Yep.
But, and then you can go back and then look, oh, well, when I was feeling really well, these were the things I was doing, right? I do that. I try to do that with my mom too. She's on the plan as well, and diabetic, so she has really seen some major improvements, which has been so fabulous for her. But yeah, really journaling so that you can anchor in.
Mm-hmm. Getting that, like you said, the kinesthetic, getting it in, getting that whole feedback loop. I really like the idea too of, I think you mentioned, like big victory across the front. You can't do that in an app, right? You're just pressing buttons and
Yeah.
adding stuff. So I wanted to ask a question about your own personal experience. And I think I want to phrase it this way, that, we all have these roadblocks, right? Maybe let's say 1,000-mile journey, and over, this fast, you traveled 999 miles. And then it takes you months or even years to travel that last mile. What's that last mile for you? And how did you overcome it?
You mean the last 2 pounds?
Yeah, exactly.
Where I wanted to throw every reason out in the book why I can jump off the plan now. Like, just, I only have 2 more pounds. I know what to do. I know how to do this. I was begging every which way. I just want to eat that ice cream. I want to have that popsicle. I just want to do that. In any case, you can, because I have said it before. It's not about a can and can't. It's about do you want to be in fat burn or not? That's all. And a difference of 3 days. Like, it's going to take you 3 more days to get back to where you are now. So think about it mindfully. That's really what I tell my clients. I'm like, don't beat yourself up when you come off a plan. Just make sure you do it mindfully so that you can fully be present and enjoy what you're doing when you're coming off plan, right? So there's no guilt. But for me, what was it? Let's see. It was a lot of getting support and complaining, going out to my Facebook group and saying, I got 2 more pounds to go, but I really want to try this keto ice cream bar. And then people would chime in and help support me and say, you've got 2 more pounds to go, stick with it, and that's all I need. I mean, I don't, doesn't take a lot for me, but it's the support. It's the support to keep you on those last 2 pounds and to stay focused, and then to come to a reckoning with yourself to decide, well, how much longer do I really want to do this for in order to get those 2 pounds? Maybe those 2 pounds are just something stuck in my head. Maybe my body's saying, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you're at. So I would say, I mean, for me, it was support, but in order to move through it, it's about reconciling within yourself how much more do you want to do it? How much more do you want to put in to do it? Is it worth it? And if all those answers however those answers come back to you, is how you decide what your next steps are.
So those big picture principles that you had to dig deep inside to find to get through this one very short period of life, right? You lost the weight in a couple months,
Mm-hmm.
but I think what's great about goals is that you become somebody sort of different in the process, not just losing the weight, but you actually have to dig into this reservoir of abilities. What are those abilities that you have kind of found that you can recommend that other people sort of look for in themselves in order to achieve their health and fitness goals?
Okay, I'm not exactly sure if this is where you're headed, but this is what is speaking to me. So for me personally, the things that propel me, especially when I am not in a good place, are some of my practices that I do. So I, I, and it's always, whenever I'm in chaos, it's a very simple answer. It's like, oh yeah, you forgot to do 3 of those things that you usually do that get you centered. So for me, it's practicing gratitude. And this goes along with the journaling. So it's all right, all in the journaling. Practicing gratitude, compassion, prayer, and meditation. These 4 things locked in together are what grounds me. And when I'm in chaos, the answer is usually super simple. It's, I got into someone else's business. I stopped focusing on myself, and I stopped practicing all those things. Like all of a sudden, I've decided I don't have time, or I got rushed. Where I am right now with all those things is I'm consistently inconsistent, is what I've decided.
Nice. Everybody is at a certain point, right? So you spend about how much time do you spend on those each? 5-10 minutes each, or?
No, it's like, so I practice gratitude immediately when I wake up. I just am like, before my eyes open, and I'm kind of in that waking up stage, I just state what I am grateful for, like for in the last 12 to 24 hours is what I try to do. And then if you're in my class, I tell you, it cannot be anything that you can buy. I do it in my classroom as well.
I'm grateful for my new bike. I'm
Exactly,
grateful
because
for
then it becomes, this list of,
yeah.
Costco items or something. Um, and then, and compassion, practicing compassion, um, prayer. And prayer is prayer can be something as simple as whatever is in your life at the moment that you're trying to work through. And whoever you pray to, or whatever you pray to, or, the universe, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just that you're extending outward, something bigger than you. And meditation. So to me, prayer is your connection outward to your, just say higher power, whatever that is. And meditation is where that entity that you are praying to communicates back to you. That's how I look at it.
That's awesome. That's a great daily practice. And I think regardless of whether you're going through that weight loss or you're done with the weight loss and now you're moving on to the rest of your life, I think those are great daily habits to cultivate.
Thank you. Yeah, they are. I just got through speaking with a client about how it's not that's not like what in the moment when you're having difficulty. And it's funny when you asked me that question, because I immediately went to running the half marathon. I'm like, oh yeah, he's asking like, once you've ran, you're done with mile 9, 10, and 11. How do you get through 12, right? How do you get through that last one? And it's not like all of this helps you in that last mile as you're running, because of course that's all your training. Where it helps you is in your recovery. So like, chaos happens and because life happens, but how much you're practicing helps you with how quickly you're going to recover and rebound from whatever negative thing took place.
Absolutely. That's I think a great way to kind of tie everything together. Danielle, can you again tell people how they can get a hold of you if they want to work with you for weight loss or for healthy eating habits?
Yes, it's at daniellegentry.com.
Nice. All right, Danielle, thank you so much for joining us today on Health in the Real World, and we'll see you probably in a month or so.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.